Recording in progress.
Bapak, Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony is about to commence in a few moments. Thank you. The 13th International Conference on Educational Research and Innovation, ICERI 2025. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Director General of Research and Development of the Ministry of Education and Science, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Fauzan Aziman, STMA, as our keynote speaker of today's event. Rector of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, represented by Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Bapak Profesor Nur Hidayanto Pancoro Setyaputro, MPD PhD, will also be one of our invited speakers today. Chairperson and Secretary of the Board of Trustees, Chairperson and Secretary of the Academic Senate, Vice Rectors, invited speakers of ICERI 2025, Professor Oh Jin Park, PhD, from the 3P Link, Korea, Associate Professor Chalat Pichit Ponchai, PhD, from Mahidol University, Thailand, and Associate Professor Kwan Ting Lai from National Taipei University of Technology. Deans and Directors of Directorate, Chairperson of the Committee and the Committee members, our colleagues, the Directors of Directorate of Research and Community Service of University Partners, all presenters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Let us express our gratitude to God Almighty for His blessings that enable us to be here in a good health and happiness. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is a great honor to welcome you to the 13th International Conference on Educational Research and Innovation 2025, hosted by the Director of Research and Community Service, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. And this year, the conference theme is Navigating the Human-AI Collaboration in Education, Challenges and Opportunities. We are delighted to welcome all speakers and participants to share the insights and contribute to meaningful discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is singing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Please rise. Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the cultural richness of Indonesia, we are pleased to present a traditional dance performance. Sekar Budaya Studi Dance is a classical dance style originating from Yogyakarta. The gentle, calm, and graceful movements represent a form of praise and thanks to the Almighty Creator. This dance is presented as an expression of gratitude for the safety and presence of the guests and all participants involved in the ICERI 2025 seminar event. The dance will be performed by the students from the Department of Dance Education, Faculty of Languages, Arts and Culture, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sekar Budaya Studi Dance. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin this event with blessings and gratitude, let us start with a prayer. We would like to invite Bapak Profesor Dr. Marzuki, MAG, to lead the prayer. Please welcome him to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa 'azim sultanik. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin Sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to Allah for all your tawfiq, hidayah, inayah and gifts to us. Salawat and salam may remain on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On this day, full of your blessing and grace, we carry out the opening of the 13th International Conference on Educational Research and Innovation in Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, Indonesia, with the theme of navigating the human AI collaboration in education, challenges and opportunities. We are grateful for the gift of knowledge, the spirit of collaboration, and the opportunity to share ideas that will enrich education and bring positive change to our communities and the world. Oh Allah, bless the speakers, researchers, and participants. Open our hearts and minds so that we may share knowledge, find inspiration, and foster collaboration that will lead to meaningful innovation for the benefit of a nation and the world. We humbly ask you to grant of wisdom, humility, and sincerity in our discussions. Protect us from any hindrance and bless all of our effort so that they contribute to the advancement of education, humanity, and peace. Glory be to you, O Allah, Lord of the world. May this conference be a source of goodness, enlightenment, and foundation for a brighter future in education. Ensure the smooth running of this conference from the beginning to the end of the event. O Allah, accept our prayers and supplications. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much, Bapak Professor Dr. Marzuki, for leading us in prayer. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next agenda, we have the honor of hearing from the Rector of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, Bapak Profesor Dr. Sumaryanto MKes Aivo, who will be represented by the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Bapak Profesor Nur Hidayanto Pancoro Setyaputro, MPD PhD, who will also officially open this year's conference. Bapak Prof. Nur Hidayanto, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bu Bekti. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable keynote and invited speakers, especially Bapak Dirjen, welcome Bapak, esteemed academics, researchers, educators, and also policymakers, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good morning to you all. So it is a great honor for me on behalf of the Rector of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, Bapak Profesor Sumaryanto, to welcome you all to the International Conference on Education, Research and Innovation at UNY. This is the 13th episode of the conference. So allow me to first welcome you all again to Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. And in this very lovely occasion, we are truly delighted to host such an inspiring international conference, and we are looking forward to hearing from all the speakers, especially from the keynote speakers, Bapak Dirjen, also from the invited speakers related to all topics that is going to be covered by the speakers. So this year's conference theme, the theme of this year's conference is Navigating the Human AI Collaboration in Education, especially challenges and opportunities, is both timely and relevant because currently the development, the advance of AI is everywhere. I just had a nice talk with Pak Dirjen, and we are pretty delighted with the advance of AI, but we are also kind of frightened, because AI is everywhere, and we cannot imagine what might happen in the next 5 years. So we are honored today by the presence of our distinguished speakers. First, Bapak Dr. Fauzan Aziman STMN, Bapak Dirjen. Terima kasih Bapak, thanks for coming to this conference. Also Prof. Oh Jin Park, PhD, the CEO of 3PLINK Korea. Associate Professor Kailat Pichin Porchai from Thailand, and also Associate Prof. Kun Ting Lai from National Taipei University of Technology. We also deeply appreciate your contribution to this global academic dialogue, and this conference is also a celebration for everyone who are conducting PKM, Bapak. So this is both for research and also PKM. So we do hope that we can collaborate between our research and community services, because this is mandatory from the government. That's why we invite around 1,200 speakers today. Some of them will be offline, and some of them might be online, might be attending this session online. So to all participants, I really encourage you to get the most from this conference, especially from our keynote speaker, Bapak Dirjen, and also from our invited speakers. And on behalf of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, again, I wish you a fruitful and inspiring conference. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To accompany our Vice Rector, we would also like to invite the Director of Directorate of Research and Community Service, Bapak Profesor Dr. Yudi Prasetyo MKes IFO, Vice Rector for Human Resource and Legal Affairs, Bapak Profesor Dr. Siswanto MPD, and the Chairperson of the Committee, Ibu Profesor Sri Andayani, PhD, to come forward. Thank you, Bapak dan Ibu. Please kindly return to the seat. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the keynote speech from our speaker today. We are pleased to introduce our keynote speaker for this conference, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Fauzan Aziman, STMN. Currently, he is the Director General of Research and Development at the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology of Indonesia. He holds a bachelor degree in engineering from Institut Teknologi Bandung and a master's degree in engineering from the University of Oxford, where he was also involved in research and innovation projects related to advanced materials and technology commercialization. His expertise lies in computational material science, innovation management, and university-industry collaboration. Today, he will deliver a topic on national and institutional strategies for navigating the human-AI integration in education. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Bapak Dr. Muhammad Fauzan Aziman, STMN. Bapak Dr. Fauzan, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan Rahayu. Very good morning for everyone. We are very delighted that this morning we are meeting for the 13th International Conference on Educational Research and Innovation in 2025, and this conference is indeed something which we would like to see more and more in Indonesia universities, because the conference integrated all faculties and academics sit down together and see whether or not collaborations within university can be developed further. And we also see that the international conference itself bringing invited speakers from overseas, something that we are endorsing. So thank you very much for the committee. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, represented by Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Bapak Profesor Nur Hidayanto Pancoro Setio Putro, MPD PhD, will also be one of the invited speakers apparently. And also the Chairperson and Secretary of the Board of Trustees of University of Negeri Yogyakarta, and also Chairperson and Secretary of the Academic Senate or Senat Academic Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, all the attending Vice Rectors, and our honorable invited speakers of today's conference, Professor Ojin Park. Professor Ojin Park just had a discussions. He actually has a very international experience, not only on the academic side, but also on the industrial side. I think we are very much looking forward for your materials, that hopefully that we can also build some sort of collaborations with Indonesia. So Professor Ojin Park, CEO of D3 Plink, or PLINK, and then two other invited speakers who are joining online, Associate Professor Chailet Pichit Ponchai, MD PhD from Mahidol University, Thailand, and then Associate Professor Kwan Ting Lai from National Taipei University of Technology. And then our appreciation as well for all the deans and directors of directorate, chairpersons of the committee and the committee members, our colleagues, the directors of the Directorate of Research and Community Service of the university partners, and all presenters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully in today's keynote session, I can explain a little bit the journey of our thinking process, especially in terms of our policy development within the ministry. And by all means, so this is not in a final state, so we would like to have discussions, and hopefully by having today's conference in terms of higher educations and also technology development, higher educations and human AI interaction, we can develop a better adaptive policy within our country. So let me start with the title will be National and Institutional Strategies for Human AI Integration specifically in education. So my name is Fauzan Adziman. Let me start with, I think everyone agrees that we are having something that almost every day, things that we do not expect or things that we may have probably not anticipated, because technology moves very fast. So exponential speed of technological change becoming common. So, which means as well that when you are writing roadmap, for example, it's very difficult to get the roadmap right because it's moving very fast. And some of key technologies moving very fast, one of which is of course artificial intelligence. But there is something which I learned. So my background before joining the ministry, I was academic lecturer at University of Oxford, where we always discuss within our academic settings that despite the speed of technological change, there is one thing which we see the pace still faster, which is our ideas. So we would like to see that despite the technological change, we cultivate the way we educate, the way we bring ideas into part of our society. So where the ideas will be very valuable, because from ideas you may see it may end up with wealth or commercialization. So in fact, ideas that can be protected through IPs these days are very much valuable. So despite all the technological change, our starting point is educations where ideas are key, something that we would like to push further. So one thing which I learned from my work as academic at Oxford University is where the university embraces a lot the idea of learning for learning. So in Bahasa Indonesia, belajar untuk belajar. The reason why, so whatever we learn today, whatever we teach today, it may be outdated very soon because all the technology change. So it's important we equip our students, we equip ourselves for all learners and also teachers to be able to always learn. And then the most effective learner, we might be see as the winning generations of the future. So it's very important for us to be present in the education strategy. Therefore, our today's meeting, I think, very important not only in the university or University Negeri Yogyakarta, but also for the whole Indonesia. So we need to bring a good strategy in our education sector. Now, let me see as well in terms of what are key strategies that we bring in the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology. Now, we do have one key opportunity in Indonesia. So by 2045, 65% of our population will be in the productive age group. And this is a demography that we see as a bonus. But at the same time, we do have challenge. So Indonesia has a critical challenge in terms of total factor productivity. So with these two things at the same time, we have opportunity and challenge. What we try to build as solutions is to build ecosystem. So ecosystem of innovation is something that we need. And then how do we build the ecosystem of innovation? So there are four key strategies. The first is human resource upskilling. So you'll see that human resource is always #1 strategy within the country. And then two is we would like to improve our world-class research and development capacity and capability. So quantitative output of research, apparently in Indonesia we are doing well, which is good, but then we need to push further in terms of quality. So we are putting a lot of effort in bringing quality further in our R&D. And the third is we would like to push our upstream research so that upstream research could find a way towards downstream activities, including development of our industries. And that couldn't happen without partnership. So partnership becomes key in our strategy. And the fourth strategy is we would like to build adaptive policies. So policies which can again adapt with the technological change, things which you do not anticipate, things that we need to adapt. So there is one constant that we may agree is change. So there is always change which we need to anticipate, and that may affect the way that we build our economy. So for that reason, so we built both our infrastructure, so the hardware side and the software side, including AI understanding and so on, to help building our economy towards key industrial strategies, including food security, energy transition, health, but of course education's included. Now, let me bring the AI perspectives. So what do you see AI today, and then AI tomorrow, something that we would like to be part of it? Because as mentioned by the Vice Rector, AI is here to challenge us, but AI is here as also an opportunity at the same time. So the key word of this is we would like AI policy for human empowerment. So we would like to use AI so that we can empower us. So it shouldn't be the other way around, because we understand that AI may threat some jobs, but we would like to use AI to empower us more and more. And then where this should start? This should start from education. So how AI empower us? Of course, through few sectors, and then some of which are written here. Renewable energy, solving renewable energy. We do have ambitious target in terms of renewable energy, and then a lot of things now can be improved by using AI, understanding our data, and improvement of where we need to put automation, for example, for renewable energy, EV development, so on and so forth, healthcare, and of course as well digital economy. So AI, starting from educations, will then infiltrate to other sectors or our key strategic sectors. So this is, we would like to use AI to empower us to solve those important sectors and then be valuable. Now, knowing that AI may be a transformative potential for the country, can we see evidence where innovation is really key for countries? And the answer is yes. If you look at the graph showing that, so on the x-axis, difference in terms of income of countries. And then if we compare upper middle income countries and high income countries in terms of technology index, the gap, we understand there will be a gap, but then the gap is massive. So high income country has a technology index of 8.4, and then upper middle income country is 0.6. So you'll see the gap is massive, which also it tells us that if we want to become an advanced countries with high income, we need to use science and technology and push towards research and see how they may be embedded within our industry, embedded within our communities. So this is where we are heading. And our president Bapak Prabowo said in our conventions in August, saying that science and technology is indeed very key for the future of our economic growth and also equity. For that reason, we see then, now we have AI, so we have science and technology, innovation is important for our economy. Now the question is, how do we then develop our R&D programs within the country? So this is where we try to build slightly a different pathway, where from this year we will focus our research not only based on fields or products that we want to build. So we will focus our research based on problems. This is as well something which I would like to endorse to universities. When we are doing research, we need to have a strong understanding of problems or challenges that we want to solve. And then the question is, who will then decide the problems or questions? So this should come from multi-stakeholder discussion. So we bring in industry, we bring in as well regulator, we bring university, of course, experts. So we will start then our research funding based on challenge. So we're building that further. And then one example, so I visited Danantara, and then a part of my role at the ministry, I'm part of Danantara as well, where we try to align between key investment in Danantara and our Ministry of Downstream Industry and Investment with the way we invest in our R&D. So there are 5 things, for example, and then we start to aligning them. Now, where this is going, we would like our economic growth to be research-driven, which is sometimes in the UK, for example, it's called deep tech. So deep tech is more and more common word that used for our strategic development of R&D. Deep tech means essentially that we develop our economy based on IP. So if you have patent, for example, you license the patent, and then you develop a company, which I think I'm pretty sure that our invited speakers as well will explain. This is where we create our wealth in the future through IP. And then this is as well what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Japan, in the US. So more and more technologies come from university, capitalized through IP, and that becomes the source of wealth of our future industries. Right, so now let me delve deeper a little bit on the AI itself. So we would like our AI to be benchmark. So this is important, so hopefully today's conference will bring this point more and more, which means that we can compare. Doesn't mean that we need to just really copy, but it's always that we benchmark, we compare, we absorb, and then we implement. We would like as well to endorse understanding the scale of AI. So the scale of AI is practically massive. And then we see that millions of jobs may need to be transformed. So we do have a worry, which is common worry, that some of jobs will be displaced, but at the same time, new digital skills will be needed. So at the same time, there's these transformations, and then where the transformations will take place, of course, again, university. And then we also see that AI will really foster the way our financial in the future. So the reason why I'm saying this is that there is a prediction. So it's always, when we see predictions could happen, or trajectory is something that always we need to question. But then there is predictions, because of AI, things will be cheaper and cheaper. So educations will be cheaper, industry may be cheaper. So when things are getting cheaper, it's difficult to be competitive. In a way, it's good, but on the other hand, it is a challenge. So when you see these transformations, what we need to do is, we need to see where educations may be transformed. So these are a few things that, it's not exhaustive list, but we feel that these 3 parts will be key for AI in education. First is personalized learning will be more and more developed. So as I mentioned before, I used to be academics at Oxford for about 11 years. And then Oxford is a university built around 900 years ago. But in one faculty, I used to teach at the Faculty of Engineering Science. At faculty, we had 8 departments, and every year one faculty of that 8 departments only take 180 students. So it's very small numbers. The reason why, from 900 years ago, Oxford developed what is called personalized learning. It's very expensive. So it's only Oxford and Cambridge in the UK well developed based on that. But 26, if I'm not mistaken, prime ministers in the UK graduated from Oxford. So why personalized learning expensive? Because you need to meet one by one, one-on-one. But then that expensive educational strategy may get again cheaper and cheaper. So personalized learning becoming cheap, and then perhaps again this is an opportunity, but at the same time for teachers this could be a challenge. Nonetheless, what we see is because of that we may be helped bridging digital divide, which means that education can only in the past be done in, say, big cities in Java. So we are at the moment, as we speak, we are developing a new program to build a massive open online course free. We are targeting around $4 million to fund, which we are building at the moment, so that education can be accessed by everyone across the countries. Because we feel that this will be the future of education, but at the same time, I think we need to be ready for disruptive nature of the way education is developed. So, but at the same time, we see that quality of education in remote and underserved populations in Indonesia might get better. So that is where the opportunity lies. Now, which then again link toward our workforce. So, which also means that we need to cater well that when AI could revolutionize the way our learning, we will see that all these factors may end up with the way we develop our economy again. So there's a link between the way our educations, technology, science, industry, and Indian economy. So AI will affect not only students, but also teachers, lecturers, educational institutions, and then we start also trying to understand around public awareness about AI. And then this is something that we are continue working on. This is a report by UNESCO that more and more people see AI as part of their life activities. And then also we see that AI will be part of our security and safety. Now, let me go to the next slide. Yes. Yep. So AI can also be very key to different fields which are valuables. So first in healthcare. So we did a development of community in Indonesia called AI in Health recently. And then we see that AI in health indeed is one of the key factors when we learn towards our academic of science in Indonesia. So there are 4 things that academic of science mentions to us as very key in our health sector. First is TB, tuberculosis. Second is nutrition in Indonesia, still very key. Third is our primary health care. And then fourth is AI. So doctors will not be replaced by AI. But doctors who do not use AI or do not use or do not understand AI may get replaced. I think this could probably be the same for many, many different jobs. And the same thing as well in agriculture. For that reason, then we try to see how we should address this. So we would like to improve our digital literacy gap, ethical implications. So I'll show you later on that we are forming teams to build our ethical AI task force. We build infrastructures. So infrastructures is key because AI needs infrastructures. And then nonetheless, this is probably the most important: data, privacy, and security. So we are working towards sovereignty of our digital technology, and then the key to that is data sovereignty. So something that we would like to build through some strategic plan, but I would like to stress out again, I see AI might help us to foster inclusive development. So when we are talking about AI, many times we always think AI is ChatGPT, which is online. You put your informations there, you get an output, or something, or some sort of similar. It could be Gemini, could be model Llama, and a lot of different models. But we also see those AI engine actually can be offline. And then we are working also understanding that if we have an online ecosystem, we should be able to create an offline ecosystem. And then we are working also towards that if AI can be developed not only through internet, but to secure VPN pipeline, for example, we may have a system that schools in remote areas can access without online. So we start thinking of online and offline AI, and then embedded more within our community, but in the way that, again, to support, because apparently AI will be here for long. And then multi-stakeholder collaborations become key. We also see that building strategy is important, at least short-term, medium-term, and also long-term. And one of the things that we recently published, this is for consultations to public. So we have announced through our Ministry of Communications and Digital, so we are part of the team, to publish roadmap of AI, national roadmap of AI, and then the ethics of AI itself. And then if you Google this, so this is available online, you can have a look, you can read, because this is consultations to public, you can provide feedback. So the consultations to public is still ongoing. Please do have a look. And then within AI, as I mentioned, that we would like AI to be useful in our economy. So there are priority fields of AI, and one of which is number 3, education. So we would like ethics policy becomes a key base, and then working towards our AI visions toward embracing the idea that in 2045, 65% of our populations will be in the productive age group. Now, that is the whole on the AI policy, the thinking process, and then how we see development of AI in Indonesia in general. Now let me bring you a little bit about where we do AI research and then how we develop our roadmap. And then in the end, I'll explain, we just recently launched a funding program that if you are interested in, I would like to recommend to send proposals because we feel that it aligns well with the conference today. So we're building a dashboard. The reason we are building dashboard becomes more and more common this day. It's just because then we have pool of data and information about the whole R&D that we do in Indonesia. So since 2021, we have done and are doing 66,000 research in whole Indonesia. And then if we map out, you see that all the numbers. So one number is one research. This is all funded through our BIMA research program. And then we have 2,111 universities across Indonesia doing research. We have 2,900 universities across Indonesia under the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology. in total, Indonesia, we have 4,500 universities, but some of them are outside the remit of our ministry. And then if we look at AI, and I put keyword AI, kecerdasan buatan, or recently we are using more and more AI in Bahasa Indonesia, akal imitasi. And then we have around 2,000 research. So in fact, this is a growing R&D, and then again, spread across Indonesia. Now, if I look at Yogyakarta, and then I'm happy to say that at Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, AI is very active. So hopefully some of today's conference will add more to our repository of AI research. We are doing this in a way, later on you will see that we try to align between upstream research, and then now this is in Bahasa Indonesia, hilirisasi. So this is map of downstream research. And then when we do downstream research in AI, we see that we have a scheme called industry pool scheme, where industry says to us that I have a problem, and then can you help us, university? And then these are these years, so we opened this about 3 months ago. We did selection process for about 1-2 months, and then we received around 49 products entry, and then now we fund 32 products with this way. So if you know industries needing R&D support, and then you can support them, do contact us, because we would like to see that more. So we are funding now. So in the past it's called Kedareka, where link and match, but now we try to lower down the barrier, which means that industry can say that I have problems, can you solve? And then we will fund research between you, university, and industry. Or we have as well program where you have technologies, you don't have industries to work with. You just say that I have technologies that industry may need these products. Do contact us for that as well, because we will initially fund 3 months program to see feasibility of your product, and then we fund it up to, in Bahasa Indonesia, 200.250 juta rupiah for 3 months. And then once we assess feasibility of your product, then we link up with industry, which means that we try to align the language of universities and language of industries, so you can meet, because industries always see that you have market. What is the techno-economical analysis of your products? So these are the things that we are now funding, which means that we are trying to really bridge between university and industry. Now, we also do dashboard for problems. As mentioned, that key underlining of research should be problems or challenge. So this is just an example, problems in Indonesia. So we do have disparity in terms of our capability, in terms of nutritious food in the country. So this is stunting map in Indonesia. And then you see the disparity between locations. And then now what we do is we superimpose our research activities on stunting, and then where stunting need to be solved. Which means also with data, with involvement of AI, we can then start understanding well, because Indonesia is very site-specific, locality becomes important, so we would like to solve problems by using the right medicine. So the issue sometimes, we don't know actually the problems yet, and then we start giving medicine. So we would like to make that our medicine becomes more and more accurate, and then we see that AI ecosystem may help us, or data analysis ecosystem may help us to do so. So hopefully that helps in terms of where we are doing at the moment. We are mapping, as much as we are mapping as well, University, State University of Yogyakarta. Now, let me also say a little bit about where we are heading. So this is roadmap. So now we are writing roadmap, and then one of which is in the area of digitalization. The soft side is AI. The hardware side is semiconductor. We also write about education, and this is an event attended and also Bapak Presiden gave a talk for about 2.5 hours, which then we also invited at the time around 400 speakers. And then now we are writing our research roadmap, and then based on our research roadmap, now we are finalizing this, and this may help our R&D funding scheme. Now you may ask, then what is our R&D funding scheme? So this is my last part. Hopefully this could summarize all the policies, where we want to be, where we are now, and then how we fund our programs. So we do have what we call it strategic research funding program. And then where this is going, so research funding program in Indonesia, we set just 2 key programs. The first is what we call it priority research funding program. And then the second is we call it strategic research funding program. So CZ, priority and strategic, okay? Now what is the difference between the two? The first is priority research program. So priority research programs, priority of research in Indonesia is still equity. So we would like to have a good distributions quality of research across Indonesia. This is expensive because again we have 2,900 university, 2,100 of them doing research. So this year alone we find 16,000 research across Indonesia. So we are using around 2.5 trillion rupiah, so 2,5 triliun rupiah from our APBN, so from our country's expense to fund this program. So we would like to see a shift of our average from 1 going to 2. That could be global innovation index and number of different indices. So this is a big shift, so funding this still critical. But we would like to also go further, so not only on the priority, but we are now setting up our strategic research program. This is something that we launched about 2 weeks ago, and then you will see that some call for proposal will be delivered around next week, where we would like to focus on how we make impact to research. So with our national budget, usually research will be pretty low in terms of one research grant. So in bahasa 150 juta rupiah per research, so 150 million IDR per research. That is low, but then if you imagine that we have a large number of recipients, we still need to do that. But then with the strategic research program, I'll explain later on some of them, but we could fund one research up to 2.5 billion rupiah, so 2,5 miliar rupiah per research. So there is a big jump, but then we would like as well that for the strategic research program, we focus on what really key or what really important that we need to solve. And then we would like as well to invite our best of the best researchers, so the more than average researchers. So we have these two. And then from this year, so Bima Penelitian, we will do call for proposal next week. So next week there will be call for proposal so that we can then do research early. Because this year, because of the transitions of the ministry and government, we start our research late, the same thing apparently last year. But for next year, we would like to start as early as possible. So we're aiming end of January or early February that people can start doing research. And for this to work, we need partnership. So this is something that fuel our success of research. And then what we need from our community, so this is something that you can say to industry, what we need from them is only one, high value problems. And then if you bring high value problems, we will invest in research, hopefully that could be impactful. So we would like to see campus as node of growth of our economy. So this is where we would like to bring our R&D ecosystem. So there are 3 schemes. The first scheme cluster is called High Caliber Researcher. So this is a very new scheme. I'll explain a little bit. And then the second scheme is what we call it Scheme Cluster for Impactful Research. And then the third scheme is scheme cluster for strategic downstream research. But again, remember this is strategic research program. If I bring again up the two, priority research program and strategic research program. So priority research program funded by our national budget, APBN, about 2.5 trillion yearly, so 2,5 triliun rupiah. And then strategic research program funded by our Ministry of Finance, by LPDP. And then for this year, we managed to get funding for 1.1 triliun rupiah, so 1,1 triliun rupiah untuk 3 skema yang dijelaskan. Right, and then the first scheme is the high caliber researchers. So high caliber researchers is in bahasa Indonesia peneliti unggul, skema cluster peneliti unggul, where we could fund one researcher who is doing very well to develop research group within their university. And then that one researcher could hire postdoc, could hire graduate research assistant. We would like to see more ecosystem of research, and then we could fund up to 2.5 billion rupiah, so 2,5 miliar rupiah per peneliti unggul, and then that can be extended up to 3 years. So up to 3 years could be 7.5 billion rupiah. And then regardless of university, we would like to invest in people. And then we hope that this could then push further our high caliber researchers into a global player. So this is the scheme. We do have a scheme for young fellowship as well, to fund postdoc, and then to fund graduate research assistant, to fund PhD, but to fund income of a PhD student, income of a postdoc. So this is something that we negotiate a lot with our Ministry of Finance. We would like to get a good number. For example, for doctoral degree students in university funded by this could receive monthly income of about, we are trying to get around 5 million to around maybe 6 or 7 million, depending on locations. So hopefully that people would like to do. It's not massive, but it's better than the current situation. We would like to provide remunerations of salary for postdoc or of around 16, 15 million rupiah per month. So we would like to have more and more people who would like to do postdoc, so that you will get very good pool of talent before becoming lecturers. And then for the high caliber, the one which I mentioned about that 2.5 billion rupiah, we can fund not only professors, but also associate professors or lektor kepala. So we would like lektor kepala to challenge our professors, and our professors to challenge other professors. So we would like to see more and more caliber researchers. And that will support our impactful research. Within our impactful research, as you will see here, that we have funding for international collaborations, we have funding to fund industrial research, and also if you like to solve other ministries' problems. So again, we value problems more and more now. For example, you are working with the Ministry of Energy, and then in Ministry of Energy we are working with waste to energy problems at the moment, and then we can fund program between Ministry of Energy and university, and that is sufficient enough for us to then fund our research program. We also have inclusivity program that we spread across Indonesia. And then the third scheme is on strategic downstream research. We fund hackathon. It's not students that we do hackathon, but also researchers. We also fund sandboxing. So if you have products that you want to test, we can fund. And then this is up to 1 billion rupiah per product. So about 1 miliar rupiah per product. Hopefully, people who are doing research in medicine can start doing some of the sandboxing with the scheme. So that's the reason why we push the number up. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So hopefully that gives a journey of the thinking process of the policy of our AI human empowerment, and then our strategy in terms of really understanding our current data, and also building ecosystem where we see future together. But I think more important is that we would like to hear from you. We do have programs, and then by no means that all these programs are fixed. So we can still develop programs based on your suggestions. And then we would like to welcome your participations in our new programs. Hopefully, we can really develop our research university ecosystem, our entrepreneurial university ecosystem altogether. Thank you very much for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let us extend our heartfelt gratitude to Bapak Dr. Fauzan Aziwan, STMM, for his inspiring keynote speech. Please give a warm round of applause for our keynote speaker today. He started with the exponential speed of technological change to build Indonesia research and development ecosystem and transformative potential of AI in Indonesia by strengthening research downstreaming to capture economic impact and hand in hand the transformation in education. So once again, thank you so very much, Baba. And the next item is the token of appreciation and for the session. The first token will be given to our keynote speaker by Rector of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, represented by the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Professor Nur Hidayanto Pancoro Setio Putro MPD PhD. The first token will be given to our keynote speaker by the Rector of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, who will be represented by the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs. The next token will be given by the Director of Directorate of Research and Community Service, Professor Dr. Yudi Prasetyo MKes Aivo, to our invited speakers, Professor Oh Jin Park, PhD from 3P-Link, Korea. Thank you, Bapak. And the second token will be given by our Director of Directorate of Research and Community Service, Professor Dr. Yudi Prasetyo MKes Aivo, to our invited speakers. The first one is Professor Oh Jin Park, PhD from 3P-Link, Korea. And the second one to Professor Nur Hidayanto Pancoro Setio Putro, MPD, PhD. Thank you so very much. And the next one to Mr. Oh Jin Park from 3P-Link, Korea, as our invited speaker for the first plenary session today. So ladies and gentlemen, the next session is also for the session. We would like to invite the Chairperson and Secretary of University Senate, Bapak Profesor Dr. Sulistriono MPD and Bapak Profesor Dr. Saliman MPD to come forward. The Secretary of the Board of Trustees of University, Bapak Profesor Dr. Suranto, and the Vice Rector for Human Resource and Legal Affairs, Bapak Profesor Dr. Siswanto MPD. The Chairperson of the Committee, Ibu Profesor Dr. Sri Andayani MPD, to come forward to the stage. At the second session, we would also like to invite all participants and invited guests here. Please be raised. Bapak dan Ibu on stage, please kindly to turn around and we will take the photo from the stage. Disilakan untuk berdiri Bapak dan Ibu. Thank you so very much. Please be seated. Bapak dan Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, that was marking the session of the keynote speech delivered by the Director General of Research and Development at the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology of Indonesia, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Fauzan Aziman, M.Eng. Before we proceed to the next item, which is our main agenda today, I would like to announce some key information. The first plenary sessions will be divided into two main sessions, and participants and invited guests are kindly requested to join and contribute until the end of the session. However, to our university leaders, if you are about to continue other important agenda, you are invited to proceed and may leave this room. Thank you so very much.